All right, guys, we got Classic in the top right side of the map, MARU in the bottom left side, and it's a TvP winners match here in the RSL Group A. And it's going to be, wow, you don't see Classic do this too often, guys. An immediate probe scout. Now, this does a few things. It means if your opponent's proxying, you'll spot it immediately. If they go for an engineering bay block, you'll usually see the SCV leaving the base. And you can often get there just before the barracks goes down to block it. This is such a big map. He's got to get there to block it, and he doesn't. He just A moves. Oh, Classic. Well, Classic is certainly not hero, guys. Not as practiced in this opening. The whole point is you want to make them build the barracks in a weird spot, so then they have to lift it later. It slows the barracks down by a second or two. Sometimes they have to build it back here. It's meant to massively delay the Reaper coming out, but Classic kind of just put it on A move and didn't actually micro the probe to where it should have gone. It's a little mistake. It's not the end of the world. He also gets one less hit than he should have there on that SCV. Hero would be shaking his head in disappointment. He would say, dude, this probe's meant to be way more annoying than this. But this should be a good match. Classic, the ultra defensive Protoss against MARU. I think MARU comes in favored for two reasons. Number one, Classic is way too predictably overly defensive, and Classic doesn't have a good 4-gate blink. Max, Clem both give MARU a lot of problems because they will mix in a very aggressive 3 or 4-gate blink and really force him to build a lot of tanks, bunkers, and if he makes any slip-ups, he takes massive damage. Classic pretty much never does this, and that's why the top Terrans will not take advantage. Now, he's pretending right now to not expand. MARU's trying to play mind games, guys. He wants Classic to think that there's an expansion out there on the map, or a proxy barracks or something weird. MARU's trying to just like keep him guessing, and Classic's like, what the hell? Because this is so inefficient. But he's gonna scout the command center. He's gonna scout it. Oh my! So the command center not only is on the high ground, which means he's gonna have to lift it later. It's also delayed like 20 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. Oh, not a great opening for MARU. And Classic, did he buy it? Did he react at all? Not really. Why would he react, right? Yeah. I think MARU there just tried to do like a 300 IQ, but he backflipped over himself. That was, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you've got a barracks at home, you're on 1 gas. Technically, you could have built a second barracks, but like, it's not like it's a very scary build when the probe scouts it this early anyway. So I don't know. Proxy starport. Okay, so we're gonna go for a Hellion drop. Okay, cool follow-up. It's gonna go straight for the natural. Stalker's gonna hit the front and see the reacted factory. According to Roddy, some people have described Classic as a person who is piss chilling while he's playing. I've never heard that term, piss chilling. That's okay. He definitely is slower and not trying to play the frantic game like some of the other Protoss players. He's just kind of like, build defensive advantage, play safe, scout with hallucinations. It's not like he's slow, you know, but he's too defensive, like I said, in terms of like predictability, and that's where he gets in trouble. But normally his defense is excellent. He sees a reacted factory. He should be going home very soon. Of course, this stops the Hellions from driving across the map straight away, and he knows he's got recall. So he's literally delaying this move out by doing this. Oh, this is huge. This is really bad for MARU, guys. Uh-oh. Yeah. And he's already killed a Hellion. He recalls the Stalkers, and he builds a third. Oh my god, this puts him so far ahead. So it's 2-gate third before Robo. It's one of the greediest builds you can do. And he's got 4 Stalkers ready for the drop. Now, to be fair, I think those Stalkers should be over here. They're a bit far to the front. Medevac's coming in, though, and oh my god, he commits! He should have focused the Medevac there. Not focusing the Medevac with the second volley, I think, was a huge mistake for Classic. Then again, takes out the Hellions with only 5 probes. That's a massive shutdown. You got to understand, guys, how far committed you are by building a starport on the map, and the fact that there's a third Nexus up. Classic can chrono probes and get miles ahead. He's also got Blink Stalkers going across the map, and those can go to harass right now. He's looking for the starport to make sure there's no like lib or anything. A lot of players will already float it home, but just in case it is like Proxy Banshee or a Liberator, he just wants to hunt for it. And I think 1 Stalker in the wall is more than enough to defend. Classic can go Forge, Robo, third gas, keep probing while doing some light Stalker pressure. And this is where a Max or a Clem would blink up that. They would have already warped in a sentry, made a hallucination, and they'd be blinking up this cliff 10 seconds ago. And MARU would basically be dead right now. Classic is still miles ahead. But he is a much slower player. He will poke the front, take a tank shot, and then just immediately holster his Stalkers and go back to macroing. And that is the difference in terms of the lethality. I think Classic's ability to defend pressures and basic opening harassment far exceeds a lot of the other Protoss players. But his ability to capitalize on an advantage also is all in one vein. And Artosis, and many of us would argue it's usually the more solid vein. Went ahead, get further ahead. But it does mean because of that predictability, his opponents can play extra greedy even after failed aggression like this. Like the building placement for MARU doesn't even have a building wall to deal with a blink in. It's like very suboptimal building placement for MARU. He can go for a quick third command center behind. He could have already swapped off after just 2 siege tanks if he really wanted to as well. He's showing Classic a bit more respect than we normally see from the likes of Clem. Clem will often build no siege tanks, no bunker, or 1 bunker and nothing else and just go straight to stim. But off of the Reactor Hellion build, your stim, your production, everything else is so delayed that he kind of feels he has to. How does Classic compare to someone like Showtime? Both very similar. Old school Classic used to do a lot more timing attacks and cheeses and cannon rushes in Heart of the Swarm. Modern Classic is much more Showtime than he was, you know, if you go back 5+ years ago. Even before his military service, he was not as defensive. Just 2021, right? 2020, 2021. Actually, 2020, yeah, that was the last BlizzCon, the one where he beat Rogue with the Blink Dark Templar. I don't see Modern Classic doing a build like that very much. Stalkers are in tank range, but he doesn't have vision of the Stalkers, so Stalkers could blink in and kill a tank here, but if you don't have enough to one-shot, you're going to take like 4 Stalker losses. Not really worth it. Classic's got a 4th base, +1 on the way. Charge, blink, both done. He's going up to 8 gateways as these 2 transform. Second Forge at a good timing. 4 gases. Shield battery and a few Zealots and Stalkers ready just in case a drop hits his natural. Really well positioned for him. Does he react in time? No, he does not. And MARU will get that Observer. So MARU's third is well timed. He's pumping SCVs. He's going double upgrades himself. MARU has a path into a macro game here. I don't think Classic will let him get there. That being said, Classic's fantastic mid-game play. He's added depth into the early late game. The end game play of Classic, I have been highly critical of for many years. I have basically not rated his proper like late game and end game that highly in this matchup for a long time. Maybe it's because I only really see him get there against the likes of MARU. MARU and Clem, and they're both gods of the late game. But I feel like, you know, when he's hitting with his first Colossus Storm timing or something, Classic's so dangerous. And then if the game drags on a bit, you'll see him build like 4 Nexus all over the map and randomly make a fleet beacon. But like, you can just kind of tell he doesn't really have any win condition. He's just kind of building things and spending money and waiting for the Terran to make a mistake. And MARU doesn't make many mistakes. So that's where that can fall off. MARU's built 7 siege tanks, by the way. He's playing TY style. TY famous for playing styles that aren't really about killing the opponent. They're about not dying and getting to late game and then being better at late game than your opponent. And of course, that style does make sense for MARU, the greatest late game player of all time. Tanks are very bad for timing pushes, but you never know. MARU might just go for like a 1-1 move out soon. I would prefer 2-2. He might do a 2-2 push. 2-2 maxed out push with like 10 siege tanks, couple libs, decent amount of bio. His barracks are idling right now, and he's got a second factory on the way. So actually, MARU is going to just turtle to endgame. We're going to see probably 2 more command centers soon. Notice how his production tab has no bio, guys. He's even making vehicle weapons. Is he going to swap mech? What is MARU doing? Who the hell makes vehicle weapons in this matchup? I mean, I guess he's made so many tanks, a single upgrade is worth it. My question is, does he keep upgrading and keep building tanks all game long? I mean, if you just basically think your opponent can't dance with you in endgame, yeah, why not? Classic's already taken a middle base, transferred workers to it, and the other middle base. He wants those rich geysers. I love it. I do love that. Stargate's good here as well. Where are the disruptors, though? There's 2 things that are good at picking out an opponent. Disruptors can outrange siege tanks by half a range. You can stop just outside of range and throw a ball in a straight line and still hit the siege tank, just using the edge of the radius. Very hard to pull off, but you can absolutely do it. Tempests are really good for chipping at the Terran and making them chase into you. And that's where Storm, Tempest, Cannons are really good. So this is the sort of scenario, we've talked about it many times, especially if you see siege tanks like this, you know your opponent's got no plan of long-term aggression. They're just going to camp for the next 10 minutes. This is the perfect scenario to go up to 95 or 100 probes, start banking money, come forward, start building cannons and batteries out here. Get Storm, spread some High Templar around, rally some Tempests in, and it's checkmate because tanks and libs cannot deal with that style. The Terran, you know, needs time right now to get mass command center, max on Bio, Ghost, Viking tank lib, inch his way towards the 4th base, and over time his army's going to outscale yours. So you want to try and use your lack of supply but your abundance of money to build mass cannons on the front. It's a pretty easy way to get an advantage. Top Protoss players I've talked to for the last year about this, few of them agree it's good, but they usually think you're meant to build the cannons at home or at these bases, and they don't understand this middle period. Even though I've explained it to them over and over again, is the moment you're in a game where you have a little bit of a tempo advantage like Classic does, and the Terran shows a sign of turtling, really fast command centers, extra tank production, sitting in their base cowering. There's like 1,000 tells here that MARU doesn't want to do anything for 5 more minutes, and he's going to go for the timing now is Classic! He goes for the Zealot drop on front to drag those tank shots towards him, but Classic gets blasted by the tank line. He does clear a lot of tanks. How many tanks did he get? 5? It says 1, but that's because this menu doesn't show friendly fire. And I think almost all of those tanks died to siege tank friendly fire. Sorry, guys. I think he lost about 5 siege tanks, but I don't know the exact number because they all died to the Zealots getting on top of the tanks and dragging friendly fire on them. I'm like, well, this is a useless overlay right now. Let's not use that for the rest of this game. 3 carriers are building. Mothership as well. So yeah, Classic is kind of letting MARU get to late game here. He's going to try and jam in here with a non-maxed army and just throw the Zealots away. And this is what I'm talking about with I don't really like Classic's late game. I mean, I like that he's going double upgrades for a carrier swap. Carrier surprise is a decent way of catching your opponents off. But if it gets scouted this early, because you're just throwing army away so wastefully, MARU now can go double armory, heavy Viking, and he should be able to beat carriers. Carriers only work as a surprise. So Classic, I think, is pretty screwed in this game. And to do this, remember the Hellion drop got shut down. Remember he had a fast third. He had complete map control. This is the example where people get annoyed at me for ranting and kind of raving. Oh, why are you always backseating? But this is the sort of situation where guys like MARU are so good in late game. You've got to give them respect and be very clever. When you have an advantage on a big macro map, you have to basically take advantage of it. Top Protoss players are really bad at doing this in general. And I will constantly talk about it until they change. Marine Marauder keeps focusing the probes. It's hard to do, don't get me wrong. It's weird to go Cannon Battery Tempest Siege, but it is by far superior to carriers. We'll see if Classic can catch MARU out. MARU could easily make mistakes here. Clem almost never dies to carriers anymore, unless he's completely blindsided. But it does take very good micro. You want to stutter step your Vikings and like focus the carriers. You want to land EMPs on the carriers, EMPs on the ground units. You want your supporting ground units. And if you ever get caught in the middle of the map and like all the interceptors launch and you're not quite watching your army, you're not ready for the fight, you can just get wiped out. Also, keep in mind, Classic's got the whole map for mining. So he's got so many bases he can transfer to. He can mess up a few fights. He can trade a few thousand resources worse. And he's going to have more room for errors. So it's one of these things where he can still win this game. He's adding Storm, double air upgrades. Like, there's a lot of things Classic's doing well. But as I said earlier, he's waiting for MARU to make a mistake. And that, to me, really good move against 99% of the Terrans in the world. If I was in MARU's shoes, would have crapped the bed 10 times by now and completely thrown the game no matter where I was. MARU, I don't like players relying on him making mistakes because he's just that good. It's a very low percentage hope. It's a really good move. He doesn't care too much about his drops because these guys aren't optimal against a carrier army. So he doesn't care about losing these units. The fact that he snuck them around, I love the way he popped these guys in the corner to avoid the army. And then he's taken out both corner bases. So MARU's keeping some activity while adding more upgrades. He does have that second armory, though he's forgotten to use it. As I said, double armory upgrades are really crucial against this sort of stuff. And this Bio's going to have to run off to the corner and hide. He's going to try and build turrets down here. And maybe move a few tanks down as well and try to cement this position. I kind of think it's a little scary though, isn't it? You don't want to get your army too split. And MARU's got a lot of work as 82, which means he won't have as much army. Comes back in on the left with the drops. Classics on 7 carriers, 3 Colossus, 11 Stalkers, 4 High Templar. He's going to go for a recall here. Maru's out of position. He does catch Maru out of position. Great EMP from that Ghost before it goes down. The bio drop on the there goes down. Maru makes the correct decision to give up that place. But that's a good planetary snipe. Keeping Maru on 4 bases is huge. The SCV is going to try to evac. Great move for Classic. Really good recall usage. Credit where credit's due. That is exactly one way you can use this sort of ground pounding army. When Maru's a bit split up and he doesn't quite have the numbers. He's got no anti-ground here. He's got nothing to deal with the Stalkers. He's got like 1 siege tank. The other tanks are all in the front. His bio's up north. And Maru, I don't even know if he could defend if you stayed there and pushed in and just pulled back the air units. I feel like the Stalkers could have picked off all these SCVs, but on the north side, the drop gets pushed back by the Storm Zealot as well. Classic lost a few of his mining bases, which means he's actually really dropped in his mining, but he's got a big bank available, and he's got 16 gates, which he can remax on Zealots with. But this army has no Zealots in front, so tanks will ruin him. He can't fight here. Classic, run away! Ooh, Classic loses quite a few units. Zealots come in from the left as well. The turrets and command centers blocking it up. It's just +1 on the vehicle weapons. +2 for ships is done. He still hasn't started armor, guys, which is a real big problem because carriers do 2 attacks and he's getting +3 attack. So the carriers, if they can actually get all the interceptors launched on the Vikings, they'll melt them. I mean, the Vikings will melt the carriers as well, but there's going to be a big income or big upgrade advantage, especially with +2 air armor on the way. So Classics doing a better job on the upgrades. Fusion core is coming now. Carriers come forward. They will take out... Sorry, the Vikings come forward, get themselves a carrier. Well worth losing a Viking, those Stalkers. Classic's Mama's with the fight. He'd like to split her off and recall somewhere else. He could build a Nexus here and then recall his army to the left, but the fact that Maru's struggling to get a 5th means he does not have any insurance in this game. Gets 1 carrier, doesn't quite get the 2nd. Still, every time he does that, trades a Viking for a carrier. It's really good. Ooh, command center goes too far forward. That's a snipe, I think. Perhaps? Oh my gosh. The Vikings aren't fighting the carriers. Bit of an awkward fight for Maru here. He's trying to save the command center. Classic can focus this command center down, especially with Storm zoning the Vikings, and indeed the command center will die. Maru, does he have extra command centers? He's got 7 orbitals, but felt like that was an unnecessary kind of loss there on the fight. I guess he just had to keep the Vikings away from the Storm, and he's only got 2 ghosts right now, so Classic's wearing him down. If he can't get that base, like Maru's like, crap, man, I don't have the army I need. He's going to try and push left and punish, but I don't think he can defend at the same time. Like, he doesn't have an army that can hold this position. Classic, especially with the Zealot remax. He makes 10 Zealots here. He can just shove in this side really easily. He recalls to the left, though. He gets lured out of position. Maru quickly runs the command center away. This was meant to be a sneaky command center. Doesn't manage to get up there. Classic's income still kind of trash, guys. Kind of trash? Maybe a bit of an exaggeration. No, he's still got plenty of minerals coming in. 3K. He's back above 3K. He was on 2.5 there before, but he does need to transfer from the natural and really needs to get these forward bases back up and steal those resources, because every resource you take off these middle bases is a resource Maru can't mine later. So the longer this game drags, it's direct damage to your opponent. The longer the game goes. Stalkers blink forward. One of them does go down instantly. I'm not sure if he managed to kill a ghost or not. Bottom side, Mama's going to do a recall. Hello! Very cute move there. The Zealots will clear the tanks. The High Templar, as long as they're not getting EMP'd, they're good. I really think you need like a cloaked ghost to flank this army, but there are observers nearby. It's really hard to get these ghosts nearby. Storm takes out the lib. That command center getting denied. Classic's doing a really good job of keeping him off this base. I think Classic might be able to secure this victory, despite, in my opinion, giving up a bit of momentum and tempo earlier. He's kind of going, like, we know this map is pretty good for Protoss because there's so many bases to take and it's quite spread, right? The 5th base is so far away from your 4th. That's the same reason we've seen Clem do well against Maru in late game on this map and on Mothership. Those are the 2 maps in the current map pool which have looked really good for them, for the Protoss. Command Center is going to lift off, but it's going to go down. 1 Command Center goes down. Storm! Watch out for the Storm of the Vikings! He's got to stay away from that. The whole bio army goes to the counterattack. I thought Maru really should be trying to win in the turtle game, but he sends all of his bio to the north, and that was a tragic mistake. Maru's gotten bullied away from these bases, and because he felt like it was too awkward to find a fight, he even gets his ghost feedbacked. He's trying to avoid the frontal clash because he feels he's like a bit awkward trying to fight into this army to secure a base, and he can't quite get his command center up, but now he's just given up control here. Classic can keep sending Zealots in this side for the rest of this game. Maru's broke. He can't defend Zealot counterattacks. Like, Classic can just defend the northern side, and just keep sending Zealot counters in. He'll do quite well. High Templar and Zealots trying to fight here. One Archon does morph, but he does need another Zoning Storm, which he could use to zone this army out quite well. Zealots are going to take care of it. The snowball from the High Templar is always hilarious to watch. There's a new command center here. Don't ever count Maru out. He's losing this game massively on the income, but he has 150 army supply, and if he can find a way to use that correctly, he can still absolutely wear this army down. This hybrid kind of carrier mothership, just Storm Colossus army is such an odd mix. He's going to bring a few carriers from the Stargates to the front instantly. Still 16 gateways, plus 3 air armors on the way. Plasma shields still only just at +1, but that's fine. EMP does exist. Command center, another command center snipe. Dude, command centers are so valuable. Oh, you can't be affording this. Oh, and Maru eats a storm and loses 2 orbitals. Another couple of storms zoning. These High Templar are a bit too exposed to the front. The Ghost goes forward. He wants those EMPs. He does land a big EMP. And that means there's no storm left. Maru basically needs to kill this army, and he needs to do it now. Oh, the mothership goes down very quickly. Fighting into Time Warp is a little questionable. The carriers are going down to the Vikings, as are the Colossus. Maru's going to blitz this army down. Does Classic care? Yes, his army gets wiped. Yes, it's a horrendous trade. But he's already remaxed on 18 Stalkers. He's got a few High Templar, full-on energy that can try and stall this advance. He's going to counterattack with the Stalkers, which is exactly the right call. Take out the Libs, counterattack, deal with the bases. You've got 12,000 minerals, and you're okay to lose a base. I don't think Maru is. Not with all those command centers you've already sniped. There's only 2 orbitals left in this game. Dude, he had 7. He had 7. He's down to 1 orbital. He's dead. He can't even scan. You could kill him with DTs now, man. He's dead. Classic picking Maru off, and Maru just struggling to get a 5th base. And I think the answer was that one recall that busted him when he thought he was taking this. Maru needed to double down on securing the 5th base and just defending perfectly. He kept trying to do the counterattack to punish you, but every time he counterattacks, the later it got in the game, the better Classic got at doing massive damage to punish him for being out of position with his army. And that worked really well in Classic's favor. You know, you got to keep your army together and have perfect fights. The Vikings try to lift and land to avoid the tank-friendly fire. Storms landing on top of them. Classic can take these trades for days. The Bio pushing in on this side. There is Colossus Zealot Archon there. And I think those Zealots are going to do okay against this. The SCVs all long-distance mining. Probes are there as well. The Archons have to be careful. Those are not the best unit against EMPs. But how many Ghosts do we even have in this army? 2. 2 Ghosts, 1 EMP available. So even there, the Archons are quite tanky. 1 EMP lands only on a single Archon. Tanks are moving forward. Maru with a desperate push here. And Classic comes in with the flanking High Templar. Archon Zealot on the front. Those tanks are going to go down. There's probes transferring in the middle of the fight. They decide to join the fight. The probes just joined the battle. Mad lads. Still 7k minerals in the bank. He can make Zealots for days. Another storm goes down. High Templar chasing through their own storm is a decision that was made. Archon does morph. 4 carriers are building as well. Another massive problem. He's just trying to win the ground fight. Maru's struggling with that. The carriers coming in. Classic spending that abundance of money. Yes, his gas bank is gone, but I don't think it matters. He's blinking forward. The Stalkers actually sacrificing themselves here, but as long as he kills all the medevacs, he figures that's a trade we can afford. You cannot. That's going to be GG. Classic does it his own way. I was very critical there, guys. But let's be real. That mothership movement was amazing. I always think of mothership movement as like a let's hope our opponent messes up, but he was very methodical and like patient with it, right? There was this like, I'm just going to move here, poke there. And there was this point where Maru did this 2-prong and denied both corners. And then it bought him time to build a row of turrets, get a planetary up. And I just thought, oh, like, you know, he's distracted you enough. Like, you're in the corner of the map. You're screwed. These guys escaped. But during this, even while Classic was chasing his own tail around the map, look at this. He comes in and he realizes, oh, I can't let you get this up. And he jumps on top of it. And Maru just doesn't have enough army here. Why? He's got a double drop here that's overstimmed. They're not really together with these units. They're on a different control group, so it's not organized. He's got a double drop up there. So 20 supply on both sides that aren't really organized with your army. You've got 3 tanks here, another lib and another tank there. None, you know, the full bunkers back there. He just doesn't have enough ground units to really deal with this. So even a few Zealots just jumping on top, the immediate time warp on your face, and busting this position at this moment was, I would argue, if not the game-winning moment, it's the moment that opened up all the future opportunities, because then he denied this another time later with another recall. kept rotating around. Really excellent mothership usage. I'm so glad he didn't go full carriers, because like I said, full carriers just aren't going to do that well. It didn't feel like the carriers really achieved that much in this game. But like what the carriers achieved was forcing MARU into like a really awkward composition of super heavy Viking. And then his army is like very it's like, I have mostly Vikings and a few ghosts and a little bit of bio, but I want to be counter pressuring and I have a few tanks, and it's really hard to get that balance correct, which is why MARU felt he needed lots of turrets, planetaries, and things to really stand and take a fight. And I think the big mistake MARU made was when he let this area get pushed in, when he sent the whole bio army north, because it's definitely not game over at this point. There was a point a few minutes later where I think that was the kind of game-losing mistake, if there is one. And yeah, this is it. It's this up here. Sending these guys up here seems like a cool choice. But then Classic is like, oh, you're going to send like 50 supply up there? Oh, no, it wasn't here. It was later, actually. This one he recalled back defensively. But that happens again a few minutes from now, right? Ah, yeah. He recalls here. They start skirmishing a bit. So he denies the base there with the double recall. And here it is. Here's the actual move out. Sorry, here's the move out where MARU sends his whole army north. He's like, haha, you're out of position. But anytime you're base trading, Protoss loves it. He's got unlimited money. Classic can give up 3-4 bases as long as you give him an opening to get a good trade. And this base, this infrastructure, these orbitals is worth so much more to a MARU who has no bank versus Classic, who's like, I don't care about losing a Nexus. Like, so this was a really bad mistake for MARU. I think he thought Classic's so defensive, he's going to run around and try to defend. Classic had just used his double recall. And you might think the way to punish that is to go and counterattack, but then Classic could just headbutt in the front and get crazy value. This was a big mistake for MARU. I think this was kind of the checkmate mistake. So Classic denying this base down the bottom twice already at crucial moments, set himself up. MARU gets frustrated, tries to dive up to the north, and goes for like a mini base trade, which massively favors Classic from this point onwards. Really well played by Classic. This was awesome. All right, guys, Classic in the bottom right side of the map, and yet again, going for the early probe. Love to see it. Classic and MARU, man, they have some big matches. It's cool to see Classic. I really thought going into MARU's wheelhouse he would struggle, but showed an expert knowledge of how to use the mothership. MARU needed to show supreme patience to handle that, and I do still think on paper he had the tools he needed, but it's very hard to make sure you leave no openings. You know, the Protoss for the carrier army is very mobile. And if it ever catches you not quite ready out of position, the carriers just launch this swarm of high damage units. You just can't fight a carrier army unless you're you're fully prepared for it, right? So the carrier army is very easy to use. You A-move your carriers, and you try and just use your mobility to kind of catch the Terran out of position, and that's exactly what Classic did in that game. Now, he's a little slow to start mining gas here, is MARU. I would say very slow on that first worker. You can see normally you have 50 gas when the barracks is finished, but maybe he's not as far off as I thought. You can see that delay on the Reaper. It does matter, man. That's about a 2.5 second delay. Cancels it and builds a Marine, so, I mean, if you're not planning to build a Reaper, it's fine. Not sure if that's a reaction to the mistake on the build order for MARU, or he was always planning to go Marine Factory. You can even cancel the Marine doing this build. Command Center does go down. Does he cancel the Marine? No cancel. Figures Classic's probe is going to be very annoying. Oh, and it's actually a tech lab as well. Okay, 3 racks maybe, or 3cc 3 racks perhaps. All right, Adept is on the way. Nexus on the right side as well. Marauder and concussive shells. Let's go. And there's going to be a 3 racks. Okie dokie. Oh, look at this probe being such a D-bag. I love it. Classic really annoying MARU in this opening. He would love to get himself a nice, easy 2-0 lead here. When I say 2-0 lead, I mean 2-0 speed run getting out of the group, right? If 2-0 is MARU, he's out of Group A. Third barracks does go down. Usually with this build, you're going to delay your engineering bay a fair bit. Get quite a few marauders. And you want to go directly for stim on this concussive finishing so that you can push before blinker's done. And if the stalkers are on the map, you'll catch a bunch of them. Adept comes in, does get an attack off on the Marine, and then shades to safety. Good safety shade. Doesn't take any damage. And yeah, stim is immediate. Most players go double tech lab, then reactor. I always like an early reactor, personally. It is reactor. I guess it's reactor, then second tech lab, isn't it? Obviously, if you don't get the reactor, you're just going to have no Marines when the push comes. Blink is going to be starting momentarily. Second gateway, of course, has started just after 3 minutes. We should be seeing most chronos directed towards that blink. He's got the energy for it now. Stalkers and the Adept are really being stared at a lot. What is Classic doing with... Guys, what am I looking at? That was like the most TLO thing I've ever seen. He knows it's concussive Marauders. Like, there shouldn't really be any attack. Maybe he was expecting the Marauders to move across the map. He's staring at his natural. The way he's moving his Adepts and Stalkers around, he keeps spreading them. What is this? Sorry, guys. It's rare you see pro gamers just, like, moving individual units back and forwards like he needs a special Adept Stalker formation here. This is very funny. Just a little idiosyncrasy, I guess, of Classic's play. That pylon, it does power the Gateway and the Twilight, but it does also choke your natural up a little bit. It's going to go energy recharge maybe on the Sentry. No Scout just yet. Now, oh, he's actually gone double reactor. Oh, Maru. Okay, we don't see this build very much. Recently, the Beyond version is you get another tech lab, and you have like 4 Marauders moving out right now with Stim, finishing, and concussive, and like 8 Marines, 4 Marauders. And if the Stalkers move on the map, you just gun them down because Blink's not quite ready. And a lot of Protoss like to move across before Blink is ready. But I guess because that build's become common, you can see Classic's pretty defensive. He only moves out once he sees the bio at home and a bunker building, which tells him that Maru wants to play quite defensively. Now, Maru got a good factory timing up just after 4 minutes. He can go Starport, Reactor, do a hot swap, and of course, get the medevac production going. He's also building a turret because he's played very blind this game. The turret is not quite finished. I assume that's on purpose so he can cancel that. It's only if he sees DTs coming, then he can finish it. That's why he's like his bio is blocking, so a DT wouldn't be able to walk up the ramp. And he says, yeah, it's past the Dark Templar timing, so he cancels the turret, gets a 3/4 refund. That's cute. Real cute build for Maru. I love it. The Nexus starts. So it's 3 gases, and it is... Oh, this is 4-gate blink, guys. Oh my god, I told you guys Classic never 4-gate blinks. Stim is done, and there's a lot of Marine Marauder available. Oh, Maru with a slow response. He was not expecting this. He's going to blink forward now, but that Guardian Shield is doing massive work. Classic needs to just get out. Classic needs to just get out now. If he could save the Stalkers, he's got this one in the bag. There's so much damage. He only loses, what, 1? 1 Stalker, 1 Sentry. He gets 16 Marines and a Marauder for 1 Stalker and a Sentry. He's going to blink 4 Stalkers to the high ground, trying to bait Maru forwards. Well done, dude. That was really brilliantly executed by Classic. He's got to be careful that these are Stim Marauders, man. But he gets a few more Marines and SCVs. He keeps blinking in 4 at a time. Wow, he's bullying Maru right now. You can see Classic's a bit more defensive than a Max Pax or a Clem. But as long as he keeps probing behind this and stuff, he should have this in the bag. He's not probing and he's not building a Robo Bay. Okay, he starts charge. Where's the probes and the Robo Bay? He's tunnel vision. If you're not going to commit fully and kill him, you need to macro Classic. Okay. Classic finally starts a forge. But I definitely think it's a bit weird how much he's committed to this. Double drop just left the base. If he blinks everything in, he kills this. He could have blinked in. He sees like a tank and 2 Marauders. Does he not realize? He maybe just thought the units were here. Out of position. He doesn't realize there's double drop going towards his main. Classic's now warping in 4 Zealots. He could have absolutely blinked on that. It's dangerous. But Maru getting away with murder, sneaking that drop across the map right now. Blink Stalkers come in. Tank's going to move a bit closer. Stalker's doing good damage, but Classic, he's playing against his image here, doing a 4-gate, and he teleports home. Great choice. Beautiful timing. As long as he gets out to the middle. Oh, no, you got to move to the middle. And he should be good. Maru scans, and he realizes he can't send these guys in, not after that whole army recalls. At the end of the day, 1,000 resources better trading, but the splash damage is still miles away. The upgrade's nowhere near finished. And Classic's about to deal with a massive SCV pull with almost pure Blink Stalk. If he had a Colossus, this would not be hard to stop. His Stalkers need to get out there and greet it in the middle. He should be out there fighting it already and using Blink backwards. But now his Stalkers are all stuck behind each other on this ramp. He lets Maru take position way too easily here. Maru's tanks are going to come forward. Oh, he's going to snipe a tank, though. Good move. Does snipe one of these tanks. Tries to do a force field there, but he messes up both force fields. Does get the medevacs if they just focus them. The medevacs are in the open, man. This is still looking good for Classic. I think Classic can 2-0 this if he can just... He's got charge. He's got more Zealots. Shield batteries. There are 3 of them. But the Stalkers are all stuck behind each other and they just don't have much damage. The Colossus finally arrives, but it's a little bit late to the party and it immediately gets walloped by the Marines. Oh no, the Marauders not able to... The Colossus only hitting Marauders. The pack of Marines does so much. Feels like Classic had such a good start to this game, but Maru wouldn't be Maru if he didn't find himself up shit creek and basically just say... Chili boys, assemble! Pulls the boys and finds an advantage in a situation where he was pretty screwed. This is classic Maru at his finest. He's so good at making comebacks. Obviously, his army's very damaged, though, and oh no, Classic's hunting him down. Classic's only got a few units here, but the Zealots are so tanky. And he's gonna get a full medevac! He does! He gets a medevac! Only one Marine able to unload! Classic on 42 probes against 28. This game is neck and neck right now. Classic has to rebuild his third base, which he'll do. Income is kind of competitive between the two, even though Protoss has a 12-worker advantage. What is going on, though? Dude, if those Stalkers got to the middle of the map quicker, that would have been amazing. Classic just did not think that was possible, that Maru would shove with an SCV pull timing. If his Stalkers were out here fighting the Marines and the tanks on the way across the map, he'd pick off so many more units. Oh, I love the Colossus drop, though. Oh, these SCVs are clumped. Okay, gets himself a Marine as well. You gotta recall that. You gotta recall that now. You gotta recall that now! Oh my god, Classic! Does save it. Gets 4 SCVs and a Marine. Still worth. It's worth. Prism's very damaged, though. And the Observer's about to go down. Maru's about to pull the boys. Round 2. I would absolutely suspect that if I was Classic right now, because we know Maru's economy is not good. We know he's just killed my scouting on his side of the map. It's a very real chance of this happening. Classic's like, where's your army? Where is it? It's about to find it. Quick reaction for Classic. This is really good intercepting him out here. The Stalkers blink forward. They're going to take out the Viking and the tank. Nice moves. The Colossus doing really good damage. The SCVs are actually really annoying. Clears all these SCVs. All you need to do is warp in Zealots and win. This should be game over. I think Classic's going to get a 2-0 on Maru here, guys. The tanks and Marauders, very powerful against the Colossus, though. The Colossus very clumped. The Prism goes too far forward, which means he can't use that to micro anymore. He's just got to spread the units and make sure the Zealots take the first volley. As long as the... then again, it's a pretty good bio army. The tanks are unsieged. It's go time. It's go time for Classic, but he doesn't see the tanks unsieging. He's going to go forward now. One Colossus is going to go down to the tanks. The other 2 Colossus, one on the right, goes down to the Vikings. The Zealots are on top, though. Even with the Colossus going down, the Zealot Stalker should clean everything else up. Classic is going to defend the attack. It's the second SCV pull of the game. Maru has to tap out. I don't know why. I just assumed this would not be this dominant for Classic, but really well played. I thought Maru was going to do that Maru thing where he just wins a game with no business winning it. But Classic, I was saying, he's too predictable. You don't need bunkers. You don't need tanks. He doesn't have a good 4-gate blink. And this is old school Classic. Old school Classic, he was always the most adaptive Protoss. MC would just, or Parting would just hit their Sentry Immortal timing every game. You'd have like an Arthur or one of these kind of B-level top pro gamers who just basically try to fly a Prism in the main and force field your ramp every game. You'd have you guys who just turtle Sentry Colossus every game in Wings of Liberty. And then you had Classic, Wings, Heart of the Swarm especially is when he was much more active. He could cannon rush and do it really well. Yeah, he had 1 or 2 really bad cannon rushes, but he had really good cannon rushes, good timings, good macro play. He really would just do a bunch of everything, whatever he thought would counter his opponent the best. And I think he did it really well here as well. It was a more economic 4-gate and then he had a 3rd Nexus up. I thought he didn't realize the drop was gone. Obviously, there was that moment where Hero, seeing only 1 tank unsieged, a few Marauders and Marines, would have blinked in and just won the game. Classic may have missed that opportunity, but the way he just stood there, blinking 4 Stalkers up and picking off units over and over again was excellent. And his micro on this first attack with the Guardian Shield shuffling, the Sentry did end up a little bit far off to the side. Would have been better if he pulled it here instead. But he only loses 1 Stalker Sentry, picks off so many units on the first wave, and this was just such good play for Classic. I'm really impressed, guys. Hats off to Classic. Not only wins a late game when I doubted him, he does a 4-gate blink when I said he can't do a 4-gate blink. I am very happy to be proven wrong. I love when a player breaks your expectation. I don't think Maru was expecting it either. All right, guys, if you enjoyed that series and you want to say a big thank you want to throw a few dollary dues my way, check out my Patreon. There are some cool perks over on my Patreon, and you, of course, can join the crew. Check all those out, some exclusive merch and different cool things. Links down below. There's also one. We usually put it up here, somewhere above my head. Somewhere here. Click the button. Special thanks to Neverless, Al Leviathan, Pete N, Drago Snar, Oko H, our conductors of the D-Town Express, and of course, everyone else who supports the Patreon. A big thanks to all of you. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and good night.